Nude Snacks is on a mission to improve the way we eat through its nutrient rich and innovative snacks. We have the founder and CEO Julia with us today. Thanks for joining, Julia.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, just to get things started, we would love to know more about the innovative snacks that you are selling at Nude Snacks, and
Yeah,
how exactly do you ensure that they are a healthier option?
good question. So I guess one thing people might ask is, well, how are your snacks different? How are they
Right.
innovative? So essentially, all of our product lines are based off of fruits, vegetables, and seeds, and that's
Mhm.
it. So that in itself would tie into your second question, which is how do you ensure they're healthier?
Right.
Unfortunately, nutrient dense, unprocessed, whole, clean ingredients that are plant derived without
Mhm.
any processing whatsoever is extremely unique and innovative from an industrialized food system perspective, which is all we have in westernized countries or Western
Right.
countries, right?
Yeah.
So that in itself is innovative, unfortunately. And to ensure they're healthier, it's because they're made of whole, rich food, fruits,
Mhm.
vegetables, and seeds, which, as we all know, we're trying to strive to eat more of, but may not
Mhm.
have the talent or time to process them in a way that makes them taste good in a convenient manner. So that's essentially where we're coming in, is we're trying to make them in a convenient, delicious, transportable manner, where you can still get your fruits, vegetables, and nutrient density throughout the day.
Good point. Like I have spoken to a couple of food startups in the past, and this has been the theme that has come out. You can be sustainable, you can have a social impact, but if you are not convenient and tasty, people won't really buy your product. It's been more than a decade since you have been solving this big food problem. You are a certified nutritionist as well. Was starting a food business always on top of your mind? Was that the idea?
I actually used to be a ballet dancer
Okay.
in my other life
Right.
earlier on. So for me, it was always really important trying to figure out, similar to athletes, how are you going to ensure that
Okay.
in these small times and short terms of eating occasions that we have between rehearsals, that you're getting enough nutrition in order to ensure that you're, one, having quick recovery times and having sustained energy, and then obviously two, there's the added dynamic in ballet that you can't be, let's say, unhealthy looking or overweight. So you needed to find a way to get those energy
Hmm.
sources and calories in a way that's
Okay.
going to keep you sustained and not gain weight. So
Hmm.
that's essentially what put me down the path of understanding optimal nutrition. And thus, the more research I did, then I was like, wow, this is messed up. The food that we're given and what we're told is healthy. And
Yeah.
it just kind of started a domino effect. So I would say it wasn't always my plan from being a child, but it was something that was always top of mind in regards to nutrition and having access to nutrition. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be reserved for affluent individuals who are educated about it. It
Hmm.
should be accessible to everyone.
Right. And when you would have started, a decade ago, we see a lot of food startups coming up these days who are
Yeah.
focused on a healthy lifestyle. But you started it a decade ago, like things would have been entirely different, I guess, that time, right?
Yep. Yeah. So what I would say, so I've been vegan for 14 years now. So
Okay.
definitely plant-based products have changed a lot in
Yeah.
regards to, their textures and their tastes.
Yeah.
But I would say nutrition density overall in packaged goods, unfortunately, hasn't changed that much.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, when you're within the supply chain and the industrialized food system, there's
Hmm.
only so much leeway available for putting in really good quality artisan ingredients
Hmm.
into a product that's viable within the marketplace. So
Okay.
I think that's more of the constraint from a consumer perspective of what's accessible for nutrition
Hmm.
than anything else, to be honest. So just to get back to
Okay.
your question, yes, in 10 years, there's been a lot of change
Yeah.
innovation that's come out. But when you actually peel back the layer and read the ingredients, a lot of things, whether it's, these processed alternative meats, these alternative dairies, or any of these snacks and things like that, they're actually not as healthy as you might think. And some of them
Mm-hmm.
do have very detrimental ingredients, detrimental to not only human health, but from the environment as well perspective.
And in this journey, what have, some of your biggest challenges been, which could also serve as an advice for someone who is just getting started in this space? What should entrepreneurs look out for in this space?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I would say food is a little bit of a different challenge in the sense that you're
Right.
creating something that people are to
Mm-hmm.
consume, right? So
Mm-hmm.
off the bat, there's a lot more liability and responsibility
Right.
when you compare it or contrast it to someone in, say, technology, right? Not to
Yeah.
say that that's not competitive or difficult,
Yeah.
um, but you're not having people consume it, right? So right there, there's a lot more potential for risk. And then secondly, I would say, because it's not, let's just stick with the same analogy, because it's not like something technology based, you can't just do some code somewhere in your basement on a computer
Mm-hmm.
and have that be replicated and sold. You have to make the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over and over and over again. So getting the
Right.
consistency and quality is difficult. And as you scale, ensuring that your profits are kind of aligned and your gross margin are aligned with what you need in order to be a viable business, that
Mm-hmm.
is probably the most difficult thing, because a lot of people don't realize if a product seems expensive, it doesn't mean that that company is getting a lot of money or getting rich. Unlike,
Yeah.
again, in some SaaS companies or tech companies that do have
Right.
a huge profit,
Right.
with food, you're lucky to get 1%
Mm.
net,
Okay.
or like 2%. Like it depends, obviously, on the
Mm-hmm.
commodity.
Right.
Beverage is higher,
Yeah.
but it's tough. My
Yeah.
advice would be just to kind of wrap it all in, make sure that you're really bundling in the pricing and costs correctly.
And was manufacturing one of the biggest challenges for you as well? How did you guys tackle that?
It's not tackled. The thing is like, as you
Okay.
grow, there's new
Yeah.
challenges, right? So,
Yeah.
if you've figured out how to make, say, 100 of something,
Mm-hmm.
those issues that you've troubleshooted won't be issues per se at that stage. But then
Right.
when you grow and you add new machinery and new people and new
Mm-hmm.
overhead, it just cascades, right? And it's a
Mm-hmm.
domino effect. So
Yeah.
you can't really say like, oh, we're good, we've made it. There's just new and bigger challenges for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. That's small and big.
Julia, you have been a proponent of sustainable living as well, and I saw that you're actively working on a new venture called Circular Grocer.
Yeah.
So what's that about? Is that an extension of Nude Snacks, or that's completely different?
Yeah, good question. So it is a separate entity. I kind of
Okay.
had to step away from that for a little bit.
Yeah.
We got a
Yeah.
little busy dealing with the pandemic at
Right.
my main business. But that one essentially, I mean, like most young, I'll just put quotes for me because I'm not probably as young as you, but most young people, we see the desperate need and call to step up and address these huge issues in the environment from our
Right.
lifestyle that are human caused.
Yeah.
And whether it's plastic pollution,
Mm-hmm.
greenhouse gases, like it goes on and on and on. Food waste, eating too much meats and animal-based products, which are just so inefficient and not sustainable.
Yeah.
It goes on and on. So essentially, with these issues, for me, the biggest one is plastics, and seeing
Mm-hmm.
how we don't actually recycle, and how that has a huge impact. We try to send it abroad to Asia,
Right.
and then they can't process it. So anyway, long story short, we're just trying to take our small little part by being able to sell goods
Yeah.
online, food goods in bulk that won't be in any plastic whatsoever. So
Nice.
that's kind of one thing that we're looking at, hence the circular thing. So you could either compost it without having it end up in the ocean somewhere for plastic. So
Right.
that's, and then secondly, the last thing I'll say is just offering kind of ingredients or materials for people to live a more minimal, sustainable lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
by making things at home. So for me, like I make all my own plant-based milks at home So having like nut milk bags or sprouters and things like that, which are really
Right.
rudimentary and simple to allow people to have fresher quality food without the packaging, I think is really important to reevaluate.
Right. I'm glad, you are doing something in that regard. So I've been researching my this week. So I would be publishing my second newsletter this week, and that is impact on plastic waste. And I've been researching a lot. It's really a grave problem. I mean, they say by 2050 our oceans would have more plastic than fish by weight. Thanks for taking that initiative and doing something in that regard. Lastly, Julia, so I want to understand what lies ahead for new snacks and for circular grocer. Like, are you planning to merge them, or they are going to grow as separate entities? So, what does the road ahead look like?
They're definitely separate. Circular has been put on pause a little bit, and I'm hoping to kind of
Mhm.
get that started again once I get a moment to step away from my current venture.
Right.
So that one is not big by any means, but I envision keeping them separate, and evolving that one more into kind of a hub to support local sustainable initiatives for food. And the reason I
Okay.
chose food as well, I'll just mention, is because food is one of the last frontiers in
Mhm.
regards to like where you can have plastic free items. If you contrast that to clothing or health and beauty, you don't need plastic in those items
Right.
as much as you need
Yeah.
it in food for food
Mhm.
safety, right?
Right.
So that's why we kind of wanted to tackle food.
Right.
And then just to answer your question in regards to the vision or what we're working on for nude snacks, we're looking to continue to bring out new products, to obviously serve our customers, and stay innovative, especially with some of the challenges the pandemic has provided. And
Mhm.
just, to be honest, like just survive, right? Like there's been so many challenges. And even though we've been
Right.
around for a long time,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how long you've been around. 2020 gave, I think, everyone a kick in the butt. So
For
we
sure.
are definitely trying to adapt to those changes and just, stay alive and grow. So yeah, that's what we're working on.
That's good enough. I think survival mode would be on for a few more months for sure. Uh, Thanks a lot again, Julia, for sharing all those insights, for doing, the amazing job that you have been for the last decade. I'm sure you are an inspiration for a lot of people who want to do something, build a healthy lifestyle for themselves and also do something for the planet. So thanks again for joining us today and sharing all those insights.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. And the last thing I would end off with is it doesn't need to seem daunting. We can all make small little changes every single day to build a better future. So don't feel like it has to alienate you or change your lifestyle completely. Little things do make a big difference. So just
Yeah,
try.
that's a great advice. Thank you.